What's up, YouTube? This is Politically Incorrect. So, I want to talk once again about this situation with the governor, Andrew Cuomo of New York. He's been governor of New York for 10 years now, right? And of course, now, after the investigation, after the scathing report, which went into detail, lurid details, graphic details of his reign of terror as his honor of New York State, there are calls for him to resign. Now, I want to make something clear about myself. I am no fan of the current Me Too movement. I think that they are selective in who they target. Uh, I think that they don't keep the same energy for every particular person. And I think that sometimes they go overboard with what they consider sexual harassment. I'm of a different culture than a lot of people. I'm old school in a lot of ways. Both my parents were born in the 1940s. Three of my four grandparents were born at the turn of the century. The youngest, my maternal grandmother, was born in 1920. My paternal grandmother was born in 1904. My maternal grandfather was born in 1900. My paternal grandfather was born in 1896. And you heard that correctly. 1896. Columbus Soul passed away when he was 48 years old back in 1944. So I come from an older culture. I have cousins who are in their 70s. Um, so I'm of an older mentality than belies my years. So a lot of things that people consider sexual harassment, which is nowadays, which is something as innocent as hugging, uh, complimenting a woman and saying she looks nice today. These are things that now people consider sexual harassment. So I'm always a little leery as to when someone is accused of that now because of the hypersensitivity of, our time and the climate. But when you read the report with Andrew Cuomo, he goes beyond that pale. He goes beyond, what is the gray area into clear as day or clear as night in this situation, um, because his behavior is dark, lurid. He was sexually harassing women. Okay, when you start groping women, fondling them in the presence of other people, um, yeah, that's that's sexual harassment. Okay, um, I don't know. You know, it's disgusting. Um, he's a pervert, and for that he should have to resign. But to me, the reason why this man should be behind bars in prison is not because of that, but far worse crimes. Now, let's not even get into the misappropriation of funds, him taking funds that are supposed to be allocated for us, well, not us, New Yorkers. And he takes his money to help pay for publishing of a book, which he profited off of for millions. For that, he should be in prison. But the real crime for why this guy should be in prison is because of his action, his decision to put thousands of COVID patients in nursing homes, Because, hey, who cares about these people? They're dying anyway, right? Because of his actions, 13,000 to 15,000 people unnecessarily died under his watch. 15,000 people died. I saw and read about how Westminster Canterbury, which is probably the most prestigious nursing home in Richmond, I saw how COVID ravaged that facility. Some 50 patients died of COVID last year. There's been more since then, but in a span of 1 month, 50 patients died. Now imagine 15,000. You know, um, this disgusting shit, man. It's disgusting, and this guy should be in prison. He really should. He refuses to resign because of the entitlement that he feels, and he's used a lot of Trump tactics, to be honest with you, um, playing the victim, witch hunt, and all that type shit. Um, Gotta keep the same energy, Democrats. Look, I'm not a fan of Trump. I've let that be known time and time again. I think that he was uh, not suited for the presidency, and I still think he's not suited for the presidency. But this guy is not morally suited for office. And another thing I want to touch on is that the media doesn't get a pass from me. Okay, now you're covering this situation because you want to be on the right side of the feminist issue. But where was this energy last year? Because it was out there that 15,000 elderly people died last year from his decision to put COVID patients in nursing homes because of overcrowding hospitals. He knew that these people needed to be in isolation. Um, where was the coverage of that? You swept it under the rug. You chose to because your number one objective, mainstream media, being that you were 90% liberal, was to remove Trump from office. So it was nonstop, 24/7 coverage of COVID, okay, to make Trump and the administration look bad. Understandably, they're a horrible group. Um, but you talked about COVID 24/7, and you made it out to be that Governor Cuomo was this great conscientious administrator doing the right thing for the New York people. He was an example that Trump need to follow. Is that not what MSNBC said to all of us last year? Is that not what CNN communicated to us last year? Is that not what NBC, excuse me, ABC, and CBS promulgated to all of us last year? Now all of a sudden, you want to say that he was a bad governor? You knew this shit last year. You knew this last year. So you get no pass from me, mainstream media. You only pretend to put out information that will be helpful to us. You don't play fairness. You don't play both sides. You look out for your side. Now look, if you notice, give you an example of what I'm talking about. Back in March, I think it was, there was that dismal jobs report that came out beginning of April. It showed how March was horrible as far as the creation of new jobs. They downplayed that report. Now you see this report coming out where 963,000 jobs were created, which were actually jobs that were already lost that just came back. 963,000 jobs were created last month, and they're just heralding all of this all over mainstream media. But they're not talking about how for 2 of the last 3 days, maybe after day 3 of the last 4 days, over 100,000 new cases of COVID have been reported throughout the country. This thing is back with a vengeance. This Delta variant may very well wreak havoc, and they're trying to downplay it. They're downplaying this thing now because of who the fuck is in the White House now. They're downplaying because of who the fuck is in the White House now. And it's shameful. It's shameful. Shameful. People are going to fucking die because Fox News and MSNBC and CNN and all of these other motherfuckers, all these cocksuckers, are not doing their goddamn jobs. That's why you have all these misinformed idiots walking around here. Now, we all have a right to be skeptical of the vaccine. I'm talking about people who are still calling this damn thing the common cold. You fucking idiots! How many people have to fucking die before you realize that we're in a fucking pandemic? You stupid sons of bitches. Whenever you get to the point where Ron DeSantis, the epitome of a Trump brown noser, is imploring people to take the vaccine, or at least take this thing serious, now all of a sudden he's part of the deep state. This is what happens, though, when you have someone like Trump who plays into people's fears, plays into people's paranoias, to the point where they won't believe what's in their face anymore. But that's all I have to say. Tell me what you guys think.